Your emotions are not the enemy. They're your information. They're your guide. But how you respond, that part is on you. What's up, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Her Clarity Space. If you are new here, welcome. You have officially entered into a safe space, and I am your girl, Jess. No, I'm not a coach. No, I'm not a therapist. What I am your clarity facilitator. I create conversations that help women slow down, be honest, and actually take a moment to hear themselves. And this space is for women who feel deeply, who care deeply, and who are tired of feeling misunderstood or cleaning up emotional messes they didn't even mean to make. Now, I hope you're comfortable, but if you're not, go ahead and take this moment to grab your wine, your water, your coffee, because we're about to get into it. So before we get into the topic, I just want to set the tone a little bit, because this is not going to be about suppressing your emotions. It's not going to be about keeping you quiet. It's not going to be about making you easier to digest for other people. It's about learning how to feel what you feel without letting your feelings run your behavior. Because I want to be clear, your emotions aren't the problem. It's the things that we decide to do while we're in them is what causes the damage. So here's my stance on emotional regulation. When we don't regulate ourselves, it doesn't just cause arguments with other people. It causes misunderstandings. It causes missed moments to be heard. And it causes us to show up in ways that don't even reflect who we really are. So now instead of one problem, you have two. You have your original issue, and then you have the aftermath of your emotional outbursts. And that is why this matters so much. So let's talk a little bit about those unwarranted outbursts. And when I say unwarranted, I don't mean that you didn't have a reason to feel what you felt. I mean that the intensity that you had did not match the moment. For instance, when something small happens and your response comes out way bigger than the issue that just occurred, then later you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, why did I react like that? Why did I do that? And if we're being completely honest, we both know that it was not about the moment. At least it was not about that moment. It was about everything. Everything you hadn't said, everything you were holding in, everything that you've been telling yourself that you're fine with when you know you weren't. So let me give you a real life example, because this one really checked me, because I'm a very, very passionate person. When I am feeling a certain kind of way, I am one of those people where I feel like I am in dire need of expressing it. But the one thing that I recently learned is even though I need to express it, there's a time and there's a place and there's a way. Okay? So it doesn't always mean that just because you feel like you need to express yourself, that it is the proper moment for you to express that to others. There are so many different options that we can utilize to be able to properly get our emotions out in whatever way that we see fit that will not affect other people. You can think about things like you can pray about it. You can journal about it. You can speak to a person that is not directly involved in the situation. You can speak to your therapist about it. You can sit on your couch and just talk it out with yourself. You can write a song about it. You can work out. It's a lot of things that you can do for you to get that emotion out, and also make sure you don't have to worry about doing damage control on the back end because you have just negatively impacted a relationship that you truly care about because you didn't have control over your emotions. So, talking about my personal example, I recently sent a voice note to someone I care deeply about. And my voice note literally came out of nowhere. When I say it came out of nowhere, it literally came out of nowhere. And they were so confused. And honestly, I get why they were confused. Because if I'm being real about it, They had already sensed that there was something off with me. And every time they asked me, hey, are you good? Are you okay? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Nope, nothing wrong. I'm good. I'm okay. And honestly, now that I'm looking back on it, I was not avoiding the conversation because I was trying to be in control of the conversation, or I wasn't doing it for any ill and with any ill intention, but I just knew that I was still processing. But in that moment, it would have been in my best interest to say, you know what, I am going through something, but I just need a little bit of time to process. Because they continuously asked me, was I okay? And I continuously continued to lie. And they asked more than once. And I kept saying, I'm fine, I'm good. But it wasn't nothing. I was tired. I was overwhelmed. And instead of me addressing it when it first showed up, I kept pushing it down. So when it finally came out, I didn't express it in a calm way. I didn't express it clearly. It came out all at once through a voice note. And let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Men don't like voice notes. I didn't know that. So make sure you keep that in your notepad. Men do not like voice notes, especially not the serious ones. And I get it because they do feel random. They feel heavy, and there's no space for us to have an actual dialogue. So imagine being on the other end, thinking that everything is fine, and then boom, all of a sudden the bomb drops. Now, don't be mistaken, because my feelings were very, very real, and they were very, very valid. But the timing and the delivery did not match the moment. And I take full responsibility for that. And I accepted it as a learning opportunity. And one of the biggest lessons I took away from it is understanding that when you don't regulate your emotions early, your emotions don't disappear. They wait until they come out sideways. The wrong time, the wrong way, and sometimes with the wrong person, which is why it's so important to understand that you being able to regulate your emotions protects your relationships, not just your romantic relationships, also your friendships, your relationships with your family. And the biggest relationship is the relationship with yourself. And this leads me into something that I know a lot of us women have experienced. Have you ever been begging to be heard, begging for a space to talk, and then suddenly somebody finally tells you, okay, talk. Tell me what's wrong with you. What is going on with you? And instead of you being able to properly explain yourself, you're crying, you're rambling, and you're snapping, and you're just going off for no apparent reason. Now you're not communicating. You're just trying to survive your emotions. So now the grand moment that you've been waiting for ends with you feeling even more misunderstood. And it wasn't because your feelings weren't valid. It was because your system, your nervous system, was on overload, and you did not understand where you were mentally and emotionally in that moment. You see, your emotional regulation doesn't only protect those around you, it protects you. It protects your voice. So now I'm going to push this a little bit further. Women, I need for you to stop trying to have serious conversations when you are not in a space for dialogue. If you feel your chest tightening, your thoughts are racing, and you already feel like you might say something reckless, then that is not the moment for you to try and talk it out. You need to stop the conversation and take a beat, because what you're really looking for in that moment, in that space, is relief. Your body needs some relief. So if you do try to have this conversation while you're feeling like that, your body's going to get the relief that it needs by releasing on someone in a manner that you never intended to do. And sure, that relief will feel good short term, but it rarely leads to you getting any type of understanding. So if you don't listen to anything else I say, if you are not in a position to listen, then don't start the conversation. So if you can see that you're only in a space to unload and then you want to leave, and you're not in a space to receive, then you should not be having that conversation. And I know this conversation can feel very, very uncomfortable. Hell, it was uncomfortable for me to even decide to talk about it. But we're here and we have to be responsible for our actions. And I just want to say that if this episode feels personal for you and you want support practicing this in real life, I am going to start to host weekly calls for us to get on the phone together. I don't care how many people get on that call. We're going to get on that call every week and we are going to use that time to unleash and to get some clarity. There will be no lectures. There will be no judgment. There will just be real conversations with real women learning how to show up for ourselves with clarity and with accountability. So if you feel like that may be the space for you, then go ahead and join in on the fun. Even if you don't even want to engage the first time, if you just want to join the call and listen, hey, come and join the party. And just in case you were wondering, the support is free. Now, one last thing. Sometimes we do avoid regulation because we think it means that we're letting people off the hook, but it doesn't. Your emotional regulation keeps your focus where it belongs. Because when you start reacting emotionally, the conversation is going to shift. It's going to shift from what the actual issue is to now how you are choosing to react. And that's how people escape accountability every time. That is why when we have these emotional outbursts with our partner, and once it's all over and you're like, whew, I finally got that out. And then you think back on the conversation and you're like, wait, how did he flip this on me? He didn't flip it on you. You flipped it on you because you could not control your emotions. You just had to be the star, right? You just had to put the light on you. And now it's on you. Now it is on you. So instead of you addressing what the real issue is, now you have become the issue. So if you've recognized pieces of yourself in this episode, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means that there's something inside of you that just needs some attention. Your nervous system might be tired and your capacity may be stretched a little too thin. But I want you to remember that accountability still matters. Being able to say, I did not handle that well and I am working on it still matters. Now that is real grown woman energy. And I'll leave you with this. Your emotions are not the enemy. They're your information. They're your guide. But how you respond, that part is on you. Regulation is going to be how you stop losing yourself in moments. And it's going to be how you start showing up as who you actually are instead of just how you're feeling at that time. So I want to thank every last one of you for sitting with me through this episode. And if you do want that continued support, please do not forget to click the link to sign up for our weekly calls. And girl, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure you click that subscribe button because we're here the same time, same place, same day, every week. This is Her Clarity Space, and I will talk to you guys next time.